this season. Chelsea fans, I know you watch this content. Your team is not in the Champions League. What do you think, honestly, about Arsenal in the Champions League this season? Let me know in the comment section, and we'll talk about it. Tottenham. They try to build as well. They've used Mourinho, they've used Conte, they've used everybody. Back to square one. They have
I think it's going to start a little bit of heat is going to start to build on Arteta because we have come in second twice in a row. We've improved the squad, and we should be better, especially at the cup competition.
So let's spend a few minutes on the Champions League. The draws came out because, again, this is a heavier load on the players, on the teams, and everything. They're going to play 8 games now, 4 away games and 4 at home. And the draws came out yesterday. It was done yesterday. Arsenal has a fairly, what you say on paper, good draw, but there are still some very tricky fixtures out there. I don't know. What do you guys think about that? First of all, about the new module, and then specifically Arsenal, how does he affect the squad? Do you think we have the squad to push in this new direction?
I think we have the squad to push. I think it'll be a little bit of a benefit because from what I understand, as long as you finish in the top 8, you don't have to play the 2 additional knockout games to get to the round of 16. So I think we should be able to automatically qualify with our 8 games and then be able to take a little bit of a break while the teams from 9 to 24 are finishing, having to do a playoff to get into that top 16 for the knockout rounds. So it's going to be, it's different. It's definitely a change from the old Champions League structure, but I think it will be beneficial for us. And I think we should be able to make a strong push in the Champions League, depending on who else advances, possibly to the semifinals this year, see if we can improve on last year's performance and maybe get a little bit closer to the title.
What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's a real Champions League. Some very tasty ties. We're going to play against PSG, I believe, at home. Two ties in Italy against Atalanta and Inter Milan. And I think 2 ties also in France, if I'm not mistaken, and a tie against Sporting Lisbon. So, yeah, it's going to be very competitive.
Yeah, I think we have
Yes. So I think we have the squad to make this happen. It's all about rotations, and now that's where what we're talking about, having the quality all over your squad to implement games. So we're going to test that squad fully, and we'll see. And what for our new goalkeeper from Bournemouth, Neto? I think he's a quality addition to the team as well.
Yeah, it was a target. It was the first time target, I think, 2 seasons ago. So Arteta has a way of going back for players he always wanted. He does like Raya. Yeah, I think in that department, Arsenal doesn't have any issues. He's well experienced. He's vast. He's been around for a little bit. So, but let me ask you guys, going by our history with Champions League, for me, there are 3 fixtures there that I'm thinking about. PSG, yes, we can beat PSG home and away, but they've proven to be a tricky tie for us all the while. Inter Milan, you remember our history with them. They came at the Highbury, beat us, but Henry went over there and did some bits. The Belgrade too, I think we'll always win them at home, but away, I'm not very sure how Arsenal performs, in Russia with the code and stuff like that. I don't know. What do you guys think? Are there any fixtures there that you feel, yes, on paper we can win, but are tricky for you?
I mean, the Inter fixture is probably the biggest one. Away in Milan, San Siro is, it's
huge.
It's a massive stadium. So that's going to be probably the trickiest. I don't know if we go into the San Siro and win that one. But, on paper, we should be able to. We certainly can compete. But that one's definitely going to be tricky.
Which one are you more concerned about? Any 1 or 2 games?
Yeah, I agree with Kevin. I'm concerned about that game mainly because Inter are a very pragmatic side. They have some dangerous weapons in the team, very good players all over the pitch, and their coach is very measured in the way he prepares them for games. So they're going to give Arsenal a very hard time. But then the other one will be PSG at home. PSG again are very tricky because of the young and fast players they have up front. And this young boy that they bought from Benfica, was it Yao Neves or somebody, the Portuguese player. Yeah, he's very, very good. The likes of Vitinha and the rest of them. So, but Arsenal playing at home should be able to try and win that game, but it's going to be difficult.
Yeah, the Champions League is really going to be interesting. And from financial point of view, remember 2 seasons ago, the Super League came up and tried to swoop on the big teams. I think this new arrangement favors. This is the UEFA's own way of responding to the Super League to try to give the big teams chance to make more money off of the competition and still balance and give the lower leagues chance as well to participate in the competition. So I don't know. For me, I think this is Super League dead. Or do you guys think that the Super League guys will still find a way to come around and try to upturn the UEFA?
Yes, I agree with you. It's a real Champions League. I like the format. I think every game will be key. Every game will be interesting. And that's what people want to see. So they will justify the money that they will make because all the ties will be tested.
Yeah, I'm hoping this does put an end to the Super League. This new Champions League format is basically like the Super League with the ability to still come in and go out. So it's a proper league, but it should accomplish all of the other goals of the Super League.
So, like most I know the Batman, this is the time to stick your neck out, put your money, and let it grow. If the Batman has come to you now and say, Kevin, I know you understand Arsenal, you understand football. What do you think Arsenal will achieve in Champions League this season? I want to put my money. What will you tell the person?
Oof. I'm going to put my money on us winning the title. I'm going to say we win the title. That's where I'm putting my money.
Okay. Do you have any hopes for Arsenal? Because Arteta looked like last season, he wasn't seeing it like, let's just go and see what we can do. It looked like he wanted to win the Champions League. And I think the way he has prepared and bought the players this summer looks like he really wants to give a go to the Champions League. So what would you advise a bet man on Arsenal in the Champions League this season?
I'd bet on Arsenal getting into the semi-finals. I mean, for me, that should be the minimum target because the team is good enough to win the EPL. If you're good enough to win the EPL, you're good enough to win the Champions League. But maybe because of the fact that we just got back to it last year after almost 20 years or so absence, you can say, okay, maybe give it a season or two to get used to the competition again, and then you can almost bet on being in the finals. But for this season, I would say semi-finals. I'd be happy to get there.
Yeah, me too. I believe so. I think I agree with you. Arsenal is good enough. I'm not saying they're going to win it, but they're good enough to just like any other person. Because the only thing I believe that undid Arsenal last season was that lack of experience, that mentality, like in the big stage. If you could see it against Bayern, there wasn't much difference in terms of quality, but there was this mental presence that Bayern players had on the pitch that Arsenal players could not deal with. Bayern players went into duels with confidence that, hey, this is what it takes to win this game. But the Arsenal players came with, when you're playing, what you have in your head is what the coach told you to do. There's a difference between that and when you know what it takes to win at this stage. So that was the difference. So having gone through that last season, and some of them now have gone to Euros. Calafiori was in the Euros. Merino won the Euros. Saka was there and all that. So they have more experience now to deal with those kind of stages. And I believe if this season Arsenal has that, then we'll see how it goes. I don't know. Before we go, you guys, do you think it's on Arteta now to perform, or if he doesn't win the league or Champions League this season, maybe wins the FA Cup or Carling Cup, would you give him a break and probably still pushes City all the way in the top 3 or top 2 of the league. Well, will you say, hey, maybe he can't do it?
Oof. If we don't win anything this year, I think it's going to start a little bit of heat is going to start to build on Arteta, because we have come in second twice in a row. We've improved the squad, and we should be better, especially at the cup competitions. We should be advancing further in the FA Cup. League Cup, I don't really, it's a trophy, but we should be competing for it. And we should be advancing further in the Champions League. So, if we have another season of almost and we get close, but not quite, and no titles, I think the pressure is going to start to build on.
Yeah, I feel so too. But just that, I know if there's no vacuum, nothing will occupy it. Just like when you look around, you'll be asking yourself, who do you want to get right now? But Arteta needs to do himself a good and give Arsenal fans a break as well. And, by trying to find a way, win the FA Cup, the league, and the Champions League. One of them, will buy him another 1 or 2 years to go again and probably get a striker or more players in an attacking phase and push City. I know it's just that when you say for banter's sake, the fans don't want to hear. They want to hear just trophy. But if you look at where Arsenal was coming from and where we are now in terms of squad value, you will give a thumbs up. And these are not, we have seen it around. Barcelona is still struggling to build a squad because of the same issue. Teams like City, we know how many years it took. Look at United. United have thrown money around for 10 years now. They still don't have a team. Chelsea is struggling with it. So sometimes you don't know what you have because you want more, And if you let Arteta go now at this point, what's the guarantee that the we are going to get is going to have, conform to the same module? Then you start on probably you take a step backward to be able to go forward, and before you know it, you lose it all. Look at Tottenham; they tried to build as well. They've used Mourinho, they've used Conte, they've used everybody. Back to square one. They have Ange now, So yeah. It's a tricky one, but Arteta will do himself a good, both for himself, for the club, and for the fans. Try and get a trophy. The FA Cup, take it seriously this season. Regardless of what happened on the league phase, the FA Cup, take it seriously. Go to the final, go to Wembley, give yourself a chance to win it, and then you can buy 1 more or 2 more seasons to recess and go for the league if you don't this season. Yeah, Kevin, thank you very much for coming by your short notice, coming on the show, guys. Like I said, don't forget to like and share this video. Subscribe if you have not done so. And let us also know what you think about Arsenal in the Champions League this season. Chelsea fans, I know you watch this content. Your team is not in the Champions League. What do you think, honestly, about Arsenal in the Champions League this season? Let me know in the comment section.